Now here's another item to pack, and it's an interesting point because it's about people appreciating quality. You can take a mundane everyday item category, and if you can produce one in a good quality, this one happens to be made in America, you can sell an individual, new and sealed, deck of playing cards. Who'd have thought that you could sell an individual card pack? It helps that it was made in America, helps it's a good brand, helps that it's new and sealed. This one, Blackjack Cart a Monday, I guess that's the company, out of Dallas, Texas. I'm going to go ahead and wrap that in corrugated cardboard scrap. This is the flexible, and then I'll slide that wrap, once I'm done with it, into a bubble mailer. It's that simple. But there are some really fancy card decks out there, modern ones. And if I get a chance, I'll show you a few, because they're everything from Harry Potter themed to specialty cards, the old vintage ones, the faces of the kings and the queens and the jacks. They're the Kennedy family. Now this next pack is an example of the first small item going via eBay International, and it's also a vintage card deck. You've seen me pack these before. These are those novelty stag playing cards, the ones with the risque jokes on them. This is the one, this one is actually number 1. Oddly, I sold number 2 first. I think the condition was a little better on this set. It's the first international shipper since the 12th of July that falls in under 12 ounces. So I'm curious to see how this is going to price out to the eBay International warehouse in Glendale. I'll check the screen and we'll see what it costs me when I'm done packing. Now normally for an item at this price point, I would use a bubble mailer, put the product on it. You'll see it still comes out 4.7 before it's even taped and labeled, so it's going to be an 8-ounce pack. But since it's going international, I will at least consider, and you can see it's still an 8-ounce pack. I could put it in a cut-down box. It might travel a little bit better. Let's go that route. So even in a cut-down box, we're going to need some void fill. I'll go ahead and wrap it in a bit of bubble, bumper up the ends a bit, and then we'll add some crumple paper if need be. And I can always trim a little flap if I start to get too close to that 8-ounce step. Though I haven't checked yet. There may not be an 8-ounce step after 12 July. All right, let's test this out. It's going to Glendale, to the warehouse. I started with 15 ounces just to see what that would run, $7.80. Now let's put in the actual 8 ounces. It's actually less than 8, 6 by 5 by 4 box, drops to 607. So I guess that answers the question. The Glendale warehouse is in an urban area. That's good news for me. Now, one of the things that would be nice with these international orders, if eBay could actually show us in some way where they're actually headed to. You know, all we get to see is the International Boulevard. It'd be nice to know if it's headed to Great Britain or Canada or Mexico. Yeah, just a curiosity point, eBay. You got novelty cards at one extreme, but you've just got good quality cards at the other. And you can take that concept and you can spread it across just about any category. A glass dish, not worth much. You put a name on it like Pyrex, it's worth a little more. You find an unusual pattern, even better. And that's one of the things that makes reselling interesting. What do you sell that is common by category, but fabulous because it's unique, made of quality, or has a good following? I'd like to hear that. Okay, so here it is packed up, wrapped in a little corrugated, in a padded bubble. Now let's think about that kind of item for a second. I charged $6.79 for the card deck, $6.79 for shipping. That buyer also had to pay sales tax. So that buyer was willing to put out that much money for a single deck of cards because he liked the brand. Now, if I'd have had 2 decks, obviously it would have sold a little faster. I could have made a little better deal for the buyer. I could have cut the price a bit. It wouldn't have cost much more to ship 2 decks than one, but it did nudge over the way it was packed to 4.3 ounces. Yeah, if I wanted to, I could have probably used a smaller mailer, a little less cardboard, and got it under 4. It's going all the way to Macon, Georgia. So if I was going to sell card decks regularly, I'd probably get a little different packing to do it. I could have probably slipped it into a regular poly rather than a padded, but since they were paying that much, which is quite a bit for a small deck of cards, I figured I wanted to make sure it got there all right. How would you have packed it? Here's an interesting item, a small C-Choice folding Grapnel style anchor. It weighs in a bit over a pound, so it'll probably pack out at the 2-pound rate. Interestingly enough, you can see it's not very big, but it opens and the grapples fall down. A bubble mailer that came in a couple of days ago for something we ordered. And I don't reuse these for the outer packaging, but I'll cut it up and I'll reuse it as some of the inner protection, soften the sharp corners. Now I do this when I'm shipping out older tools and used item because I think the buyer's expectation isn't quite as high as if, say, they're ordering new china or new jewelry set or something like that. Then I'll use all new bubble. But this paper layer will add some protection, especially once I tape it up. And it's better, I think, than just tossing these in the recycle. So now you can see I used the old bubble mailer after I cut off the label. It did a nice job of protecting and wrapping the sharp corners. Let's see, it weighs in packed that way at 1.4. So now I could either slip it into a mailer like this one, or I could put it in a box and it would still come out under 2 pounds. We'll see where it's headed. Another interesting lot today. These are aluminum conduit bodies and couplers. You can see them here. The individual pieces didn't have enough value to list separately, so I just took the whole group, put them together, and put them up as a lot. And they sold. $17.79 is what we achieved, plus shipping. Here they are. I bagged them up, put them in an eBay box. This is an 8x6x4. Put in some padding to make sure they didn't rattle around, and they're headed to California. These are the electrical conduit parts, the aluminum group. As long as we're looking at commercial products, Ferrite core clamps. They're for filtering out noise on electronics. This is the part I'm selling. This is what they do. They clamp onto an older style ribbon cable. I actually have these in 2 sizes. This is the short one. I list these and sell them in pairs, and I can see here that Rosie sent out an offer because of that price. But these came out of a storage unit back when I was clearing commercial storage units. These are actually sound technology parts. I got them in quantity, but they are long tail and slow. Luckily, they don't take up a lot of space. So here are the actual clamp-on Ferrite filters. You can see they're not very thick. They're hinged here in the middle. And once you fold them over the ribbon cable, there's a little closure device here at the end, which is a little soft and susceptible to breakage. So that's why we tend to overprotect these as we send them. One of the early groups I sent ended up with one broken, but I don't know whether it actually broke while it was in my possession, while it was put in the bin by the original technicians at Sound Technology, or if the gentleman buyer was actually sending me his broken one. I gave the refund. There was no way to prove what happened one way or the other. But here you can see that they've got a Ferrite part number, and then they also had a SoundTech part number, because these, as I say, were in a SoundTech bin. And I've got these in 2 lengths. These are the short ones, and then the others are simply longer to go over a larger ribbon cable. Since I was an electronic technician for many, many years, and then supervised groups of electronic technicians, this stuff is like old home week to me. So when I can get it cheap enough, sealed, especially multi-quantities, and they're small, it doesn't matter to me how long it takes to sell them. I just set the price, package them up, in this case in a quantity of 2 to make it reasonable, and they eventually sell. Here are those Ferrite filters. It was an order for 2, so I bagged them, put a little protective white foam in to make sure that clip was safe, wrapped that in corrugated cardboard, slipped it into a bubble mailer, and it'll go out at 8 ounces, and it's headed for Texas. I'm down at the shipping bench, and as sometimes happens when I open the laptop, the connection to the Wi-Fi, especially for eBay, is just slow. See those spinning wheels? I'm not getting my shipping page to open. Usually when that happens, I just close it up, go do something else for a while, come back and try it again in a half hour or so. I say it's late in the evening. I wanted to get the packing done because I've got an auction to watch close. Now this is the Wi-Fi extender out here in the white barn. The other piece that transmits and receives to and from it is in the house. So I'm going to go ahead and reset this. That's why I need to spend the time to track down a better quality, wider reach, higher speed system and connect both the barns into the router into the house, because this one some days just doesn't get me the signal strength I need. While I'm waiting for my connection to work better, I'll show you this listing Rose was working on. It's for a Pomona double banana jack. This is the stock image. And over here, this was the image of the bag, the one I used. In the bag, you just can't clearly see the photos. So the question, if you were making it, would you use this one, which is actually a better image, lacks a border, but that's because it was stock. Would you use a stock image like this one, or would you use an image you took yourself? Does it really matter? I don't even think Pomona's in business anymore, but I like selling old electrical connectors. But how would you go? Which would you use? A, the one Rose liked, or B, the one you took yourself that shows the product information? Now here's the product I'm packing. It's a vintage Williams, you can see it right here. Williams, made in the USA. It's a 1001 Super Wrench. This one happens to be a 1/2 inch size. Chrome. You can see that it's only a single end wrench from a small set. So somebody probably wants to complete a set. Sometimes with these old wrenches, and Williams is a good brand, I will take the time to list singles, especially a stubby like this, because they're good for getting into tight spaces. Now what I'll do is I'll just wrap this in either a little bubble or a little corrugated and slide it into a padded envelope. But you can see it's not very big. There's my hand. Well, that's it. Packing's done. The laptop finally connected. Some nights it seems to be a extra difficulty. Hope I have better luck at the auction I'm about to watch close. Yesterday, I put up a video in which I was talking about some of the items that sold, packing video. One of the items was a Super Trooper. And when I get items like that, the little mechanical wind-up toys, other items that have flashing lights or sounds or movement, I'll sometimes take a little video of those. Sometimes I'll take a couple of videos, and from the skill I've learned editing YouTube videos, I'll pull those videos up into DaVinci, which is what I use to edit, and then I'll actually put those videos together and shorten them, cut the leaders, cut the ending, cut the part that's not needed, and try to get a few seconds showing that the item functions. Because it's a lot easier to sell something like that Super Trooper if the buyer can see where it says video and then play it and see the little things go around, or the bells or the lights or the movement. It's the same way with the little wind-up friction toys. You back them up, you let them go. Sometimes, though, it's hard to actually catch the movement that quick, and that's why I like to edit them. Loading up videos is one of those nice features that eBay added. But if you make the videos too long, then you've got a problem. It takes too long to upload. Some of them never do. So keep the video short and concise, and it may help with the sale. Well, that's it for me tonight. It's coming up on 7. I'm headed in. Yep, that's what it's like some nights being a reseller, because this is reselling in retirement.